DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective, your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
What's going on, draft heads? Welcome in to the KPC, the pre-Gameweek 14 version of the Key Pass Collective. Welcome in. My name is Joe Williams. I'll be your host for this particular episode. KPC, for those who need a reminder, is the audio companion to the Draft Society website. What is the Draft Society, you ask? Great question. Glad you asked it. Basically, we are your one-stop shop for all of your draft fantasy football in the Premier League needs. So everything. I mean, we've got consensus rankings. We've got waiver wire articles every single week that are completely free. We've got Sleepers 11 articles that are completely free. We've got draft statistics that we'll be referencing during this show that are completely free to everybody. We have articles that help you set up your leagues and commission your leagues and all those things. And now, brand new, as of a couple of weeks ago, we also have projected lineups that are also completely free. So please check out the Draft Society. And if you are willing to support an independent fantasy football website, we would greatly appreciate it. Does keep the lights on around here. And we do have costs, contrary to popular opinion. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody's like talking shit, but we do have costs, and we do have to pay to kind of bring you some of these resources and things that we have to kind of subscribe to and all that stuff. Plus we put in countless hours. So if you really are willing to support the work that we do, joining the Inner Circle is a great way to do it. We would really appreciate it. And for that, you're going to get rest of season player rankings every single week. You'll get player points projections every single week. You will get sortable consensus rankings every single international break. We just put out the top 150. And you can only see the 150 if you're an Inner Circle member. Otherwise, you're stuck with 75 that are not sortable, that are free. Set piece tracker, fixture difficulty tracker, so much more. But the crowning jewel, of course, if you join the season pass, you are going to get the fantasy toolkit, which of course is the brainchild of DraftLad and is just incredible. Just really, really an amazing tool that is bespoke. It will help you literally based on your Fantrax ID. It'll help you pick up players. It will help you determine the rest of the season value of your roster. It'll help you make trades. It'll give you, scores for your roster and how strong it is, power rankings for your whole league. There's a lot going on there. You got to check it out. And we definitely think it's worth it. So we appreciate you all. And thanks so much to everybody who already does subscribe. And even if you just visit the Draft Society, and take advantage of our free articles and listen to the podcast, we couldn't do it without you. And you're literally the reason that we do it. So thank you to everybody. DraftSociety.com. Just another reminder. Let's move on. This week on the KPC, we've got What's in the Box to start out. So we're going to do another episode of What's in the Box. Another four different boxes that we are going to put players in. I'll explain that a little bit more once we get started. And then we have our Gameweek 14 waiver players, streamer players, if you want to call them. And then also stashes. And then, of course, if you guys have any questions, please ask them live. We have a few gents in the chat currently. Pubs with Av, how's it going, man? I know that we have a few more who are tuning in, but Sanji and I, in fact, let's go ahead and bring on the lads here. Sanji and I were just talking about December, and it's basically almost December at this point, Sanji. And December, I'm just looking at our numbers in terms of live viewers, and then just everything going on with, Ryan couldn't be here and just everything. December's fucking busy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like some of the numbers, like listening numbers or watching numbers, are delayed. Because I still believe in how faithful our listeners are, how faithful our community are.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, man, people like even end of term for work and stuff like that. You're wrapping things up, projects, etc. Life gets busy. You're out now visiting family, your cousins, your grandparents, people you follow,
Of course.
with shared hobbies. People that you have pets that you I don't know, go to the park with, and you meet up. Like random shit just pops up at this time of the year. But yeah, people are busy,
do
man.
the arts and crafts with the kids,
Yeah.
Like you have to give like real presents, just buy the Barbies and whatever. So you have to like you'll have like glue gun stuff stuck on your hands for days, so you can't get past and stuff like that. So and you can't get the glitter out of your eyes for hours and hours and stuff like that. Yeah, just the usual stuff.
Yeah. And like almost every night is like pub night at this point. Like, you want to get a pint? It's Christmas, like, right? The
For
thing
some
is,
of
like,
us, right, Toddy? For some of us.
Yes. I would love every night to be pub night. I would probably
but that's like
sleep
social
in a corner in a pub.
That's like social dynamics in like UK Europe. That's one thing I've like immediately recognized as well, moving this side of the world. But yeah, it's Christmas is a great time, man. Have you started your shopping, Joe?
Oh, yes and no. How
is that?
So
luckily, yes,
luckily,
because your partner listens to the pod and you're trying to cover your butt.
No. So luckily we agreed
she doesn't listen.
she did that 1 week. She did that 1 week when we were talking about Ryan being handsome, of course, because we're always talking about Ryan being handsome.
It's every week though.
Yeah. This is a Ryan stand pod, actually. Anyway, yeah, we're going
even
in
when he's not here. Even when he's not here.
We're going in on a joint present. And it let me off the hook, but all that it meant was that I had to agree that we're buying a $500 coffee maker.
For who?
That must be some really good coffee, man.
Yourself?
The two of us apparently need this.
Is it one of those that like prints your face in the foam?
If only.
Does it have Bluetooth? Does it have Bluetooth?
Not that either. Nope. No, it sure doesn't. It looks pretty cool. Anyway,
can you live inside that coffee maker? Because that's like rent almost in some countries. So
Omar in chat agrees that coffee is very important. So I'm
this important.
Well, it's in her defense, it's a coffee maker and a grinder.
You can look at it as an investment. Like
I promise you, Ryan would agree. Ryan just bought a couple bags of from the roaster that just got crowned the best coffee roaster in the entire world. It's located in Madison, Wisconsin, which is why he told me about it, because that's my state. That's where I'm from. Right, Ryan?
Oh, no way.
That's right.
It really is Christmas.
He's just here. She's just here for the coffee.
You got a lump of coal if this is your Christmas.
Yep.
I finally got a decent background. I like it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
He's talking to me.
He's talking to you. I don't think he's talking to Toddy.
Sorry, compliments from Ryan are a rare thing. So, I'm like, I wasn't.
He doesn't
sure
understand. He doesn't understand them.
I kid because I love.
Yeah, Ryan, we were just talking about coffee, and I'd mentioned that you got a couple
nice.
bags from the best roaster in the entire world, apparently.
Yeah, 3 bags straight out of Madison, Wisconsin. Who knew?
Let's go.
Joe,
how does the mic sound, by the way?
Joe is apparently buying himself a $500 coffee maker for Christmas.
Okay, hold on. It's for my wife. I mean, well, it's for both of us.
How does that work?
It's a joint present, Ryan. So that means I don't have to buy her a present this year. All right, so it makes it easy.
That's worth $500. I have not actually bought a Christmas present since I got married.
This is a hilarious comment from Bob's at the app. Next week, why Americans don't have kettles in their houses.
They don't?
I have an electric one. I have plenty now that I'm a coffee hipster. But
yeah,
you're
talking to a couple of Americans who do, only because of our coffee hipsterism.
Why? Do you do the pour over coffee thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have an electric one that just makes it a lot easier for French presses and stuff too. Otherwise, I'd boil something in a big pan.
That's pretty old school, though, to be fair.
Yeah, it's pretty hillbilly as well. Have we started the show?
No, people are here to listen to fantasy football conversation.
Are we live? Are we alive now?
We sure are.
Do it live.
Man. Okay, so for listeners, we weren't expecting Toddy or Ryan tonight. And so the reason this has kind of gone off the rails is because it really is a Christmas miracle. And I was just listening to Run the Jewels, the song Christmas Fucking Miracle.
I love that.
It's insanely good. If you've not heard it.
Have you ever seen them in concert?
No.
Dude, their shows, their live shows, great. And a lot of rap shows are really, really bad live, just because of acoustics and whatnot, but they're great.
Oh, I bet. Man. All right. Anyway.
Leave it for the pod.
RTJ pod.
Yeah.
Omar's on fire tonight. We're weeding out the NFL fantasy listeners.
I'm rewatching The Wire, so Omar,
oh, what a show!
Yeah, so good. So good. All right, shall we? Okay, today on the KPC, we talked about what's in the box, waiver wire and stashes, and your questions answered live, such as why don't Americans have kettles? All right. What's in the box? So I kind of mentioned this previously, but these are 4 different boxes that we are going to be placing players in. Okay, so 4 different boxes, placing players in said boxes. If you are live with us, put any of your answers to these in chat as well, and we'd be happy to shout those out. If you have players that would go into that same box, let us know. And we're trying to focus on players who are in a new box. This being in this box is kind of a new thing for them. They haven't always been in this particular box. So before we get underway, obviously, of course, we should probably do this.
Guess what's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box? It's just my favorite thing ever. All right. Box number 1, gentlemen. This is an oldie but a goodie. We've had this one before. DROP ASAP. It's a good time to revisit players that we should drop. It's a good time to have that conversation, maybe that debate over whether or not it's time to part ways with a certain player. So let's look at some answers for these. As mentioned, don't hold it against Toddy. He was literally out until 30 seconds before we started. So Robbie actually submitted some answers for this one, for all of these, and we can debate and either agree with him or tell him why he's wrong. And then the rest of us can give our answers as well. So Robbie has said, what's his name? First name, Gustavo?
Gustavo.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Gustavo. Just had a brain blank. Gustavo Homer. And he says after Burnley. So technically not ASAP. So Robbie just ignoring the brief, first of all, which is always a good way to start. But
glad he didn't come.
Gustavo Homer.
If you want to stick to the brief, I'd just to stick to the brief, I would drop him before Burnley. I have no faith in him doing anything against Burnley.
Okay, no, that's. I think that's probably good. It's good to get out there at least, because, yeah, I mean, is there anyone here who would start him against Burnley?
If I was pressed in midfield, yeah, I wouldn't feel good about it, but
The infamous mid-5, Sanji?
This
starting
is
Norwood.
this is
Christ's
a very
sake.
sensitive topic for me.
This is our third podcast, mid-5s. So we have a Run the Jewels podcast. We have this one, and then another one just called mid-5s with Banta Boys.
I don't think you should own anyone from Sheffield other than McBurney.
I like
So,
that.
yeah.
I mean, I'd play the goalie against Burnley.
Sure.
He
I don't
got
mind Norwood against Burnley. And Bogle is
Maybe.
always honorary.
yeah. Norwood.
Streamer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting like double digits from anyone I play, even against Burnley.
What I like about Norwood now is if McBurney's back, he can ping in crosses to that beautiful fleshy forehead of his.
I mean, Baldock's cross was pretty fucking good. So
I mean,
McBurney's the man. I love him.
McBurney is like, I get the love because I am also a McBurney stan, but we just need to like put a damn towel on it because he's still shit on a shit team.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
he had done nothing before his goal last week. He had one penalty goal.
He's had knocks.
Yeah, but even when he played, he did nothing.
Oh, I mean,
he's averaging over 9 points
Yeah.
per game in
Yeah.
the shit minutes that he plays for the shit team. Like, yeah, I again, I'm not touching anyone but McBurney. Penalties, aerials, forward 3, forward 4. That's it. But
Shit players on shit teams is like the best part about this entire thing, isn't it?
what this game that we play? Or
Yes.
what? You're probably right.
Somehow wringing out points from just abject shit is like one of the most pleasurable parts of doing this.
That's not a bad point.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you are much more. You enjoy it much more if your Gustavo Hamers get you 20 than if your Phil Fodens get you 20.
Well, yeah, it goes back to like the Adama Traore and like JWP days when they were on shit teams.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm not.
No,
taking that.
I wouldn't put JWP in that.
On a shit team, Southampton,
I
they got
wouldn't put
relegated.
Adama on the.
They got relegated.
Wolves did it.
No,
I mean, despite
Totti's-
talking about Christmas lists, despite being on Toddy's Christmas list every year, they still haven't been relegated. And that Nuno Wolves team, I don't care if they don't get some injuries, they would have pressed for top 4.
fair,
Honestly.
fair. All right. Well,
But anyway,
anyway,
Hummer.
yeah, but I'm probably dropping.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Mine is strictly just injury. It's time to move on. Even when he has started, I mean, in the 1 to 2 games he started, Ansu Fati, I mean, it's just not going to happen this year. I'm okay missing out on the couple of games that he might have in February.
He's out for 3 months, so that's not going to be February.
April.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop. Don't look back.
Yeah.
Cool. That's an easy one. Ryan?
If it was purely on merit and scores and performances, Udogie would be a drop ASAP. However, there's this weird, I don't know, currency in the market for Udogie. He's got a lot of credit built up in the bank for some reason. Because I guess he passes the eye test when you watch Spurs. He's in dangerous positions, but it doesn't usually equate to points. His last 3 starts, he collectively delivered, I think, -2. We're talking 0.75, -5.75, and 1.25. And before that, he only got double digits once since beginning of September.
Oh,
So like that start, that white hot start, that all of Spurs benefited from, is over, and yeah, I think it's time to move on. But I got a fair amount of cash for him before the last game week, which I was very happy about. So yeah,
that's not
like I
going to
said,
happen
test the
for
waters.
long.
94% rostered.
Oh my! But no, but I mean, but what I'm saying is like it's going to catch up with them. I think pretty soon.
Yeah, City coming up. Obviously, that's not going to look good. But I don't know. Like I said, there's a weird cult following for Udogie. So definitely test the waters. But yeah, it's just to say that he's droppable if you really need to.
Definitely droppable in 10 team.
Yeah. Oh, easily. Oh, yeah. I'd rather roster Mikolenko. Yeah. Okay. All right, Sanji.
Mikolenko doesn't get the draw that he used to.
Hey, Miko's fine, man. He nearly scored another banger.
He did.
So Ryan mentioned the word cash, so I'll also suggest Matty Cash, and like kind of play on his name, try to get cash for him. But I think like you mentioned, 10-man league, he's worth a drop. He's kind of just been riding the coattails of his brace earlier on in the season. That lucky ass CS or clean sheet that he got versus Luton Town. Yeah, like since game week 8, I think he's been averaging like 3.5 points per game, and he just keeps getting these random early subs and stuff like that. And like you look at the team sheet and he's playing right wing. That's so exciting. And nothing happens. Sure, he's getting into like decent positions in the box and stuff like that, but I feel like watching it these days now, it's becoming more wishful thinking that he's going to get another attack in return, and he doesn't have enough defensive, contributions in his game time to warrant a start. Like at this point, I'm looking at him as like just depth. And like, I mean, the only time that I would want him back in my team right now is game week 18, when Man City and Brentford have a blank. And they're playing, I think, Sheffield United at home or something like that, which is probably one of the best fixtures of any team in that blank game week. So, yeah, it's the next 4. I'm not excited to start. I tried trading him out as well. No one's biting, but again, it feels too good to drop because I know I drop. Somebody's gonna grab him. And if we're looking at like rostership percentage, 97. It's higher than Udogie, and I think Udogie is a better asset than Cash at the moment.
Barely, maybe.
Yeah, that's close. Villa have tough fixtures coming up too.
Yeah. Bournemouth away, Man City at home, Arsenal at home, Brentford away.
Over the last 30 days, like when you go on Fantrax and you go like 30 days back or whatever. So over the last 30 days, who has a higher points per game number, Udogie or Cash?
It's got to be Cash.
Actually,
30 days.
Last 30 days. Don't look.
Yeah, it's got to be Cash because, yeah, like I said, I just rattled off the Udogie's previous 3.
Yeah, I agree. Two international breaks in that 30-day stretch. So,
True.
Yeah.
So Cash, we have a fantasy points per game of 1.25.
It's in the black. That's good enough.
Number to beat.
And that is good enough to beat Udogie, who has minus 2.25.
Told you.
Who is the tallest dwarf? I don't think we can say that anymore. Pubs at
Are we
that.
saying? Yeah.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. He means like
I'm
a
not-
Christmas elf, I think. I think he's talking about a Christmas elf.
Good spin. I like that.
Yeah,
Keep it
thank you.
festive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also above in chat, Omar asked, is it time to drop a Jingra or Diaby? Can I speak for everyone here and say hell no?
Yes.
No.
Nah.
Why? Why would
Yeah,
you do
don't.
that?
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you're dropping either one of those guys, you have to be
Is it
at
an
the top of
18
your
league?
league. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's an 8-team league, and even then, you got to be able to get something for Diaby. Like that's don't do that. Do not do that. No way. All right, next box. We ready? Let's do this. Okay, this is the one we've been alluding to the whole time. It's a Christmas miracle. So these are festive fixture must adds. So guys that we are thinking about or trying to get in before the festive fixtures. Some of these are going to be a little bit controversial, and I think it's great because we don't always know if players are going to play for sure over the festive season. But we do know teams that are suffering from injury crises or are going to need to rotate or those kind of issues. So let's get into it. Does anybody want to kick it off? Do a different order? Do it alternate order? Like reverse order? Sanji?
Sure. I
Okay.
chose 3 names that rhyme.
Oh, I like that.
Garnacho, Lo Celso, João Pedro. Where to start? Garnacho. That bicycle kick was amazing. I have no idea where that came out from, but it was amazing. I really feel it for Everton. Thought it
Oh,
would
your
have.
dad's in chat again. Sorry.
Oh, nice. Hi, Dad.
Bantam, man.
Oh, that's a senior. Nice.
Fantasy.
Banter the third. So Garnacho, yeah, he scored again, I think, tonight for United in that 3-3 draw versus
Yeah, he did.
Galatasaray. He just seems like the best winger at the moment that they have. That
It's not
Can
saying
Hag-
much.
well, yeah, true. But yeah, I think it might be his time to shine during this festive period, and it always happens every festive period. Like this one asset will pop out during all these games, and I mean he's young enough. I would think that his ability to recover between games should be fine. He got subbed off as well in this game. I mean they were kind of chasing the game, and he looked absolutely gassed. But I would assume that he starts more games more often than not. Because I mean Anthony I think is still crap. I'm not buying into Rashford's 19-pointer because Bruno gave him the penalty. Yeah.
It's like
I
Kai.
think-
It's like believing in Kai.
I don't know if we should be hating on Kai, man. He
I scored again
back-to-back-
tonight.
Yeah, big
On the
goals.
trot. I told you as soon as I drop him.
I picked him up.
I saw that. I was gonna. Yeah, I made a note of that, Joe. You weren't gonna get away from that.
Is he gonna play left back for Arsenal as well? He played left back for the
there's-
German national team.
we'll get to it later, but yeah, there's already too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah,
fullback-wise.
I'm embarrassed about that, but that's fine.
I'd looked for him, so I'm embarrassed about that. Looking for him and not getting him is even worse, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh man.
Lo Celso is the other one. I think not only me, I think maybe Ryan. Well, it'd be straight for Ryan as an Arsenal fan to be crying to see Lo Celso finally get an opportunity for Spurs. But yeah, scored a banger
You
for
saved me
goal.
my game week.
Yeah, 20 points. I grabbed him as an FA as well. Yeah, banger of a goal, bit of a deflection, but I feel like his role also slightly changed in that game because he wasn't ghosting at all while Bentancur was on the pitch and he was playing a different role. Højbjerg comes on and then he starts ghosting the rest of his 20-point haul after his goal. So it's an interesting option to have, and I think like Ange isn't going to change the way that Spurs play. It was exciting to see them battle it out with Villa. Unlucky not to get a result, to be honest, because there were so many offside goals that went in. He could have had a cheeky assist at one point, I think, which got ruled out as well. So yeah, it's definitely an exciting prospect to own in such an attacking team still. Obviously, like the next fixture is tough, City away, but after that, like there's some tasty fixtures in there. You've got West Ham at home, Forest away, Everton home, Brighton away, Bournemouth at home. There's Newcastle at home as well, but I mean, it's better than going to St. James's Park and getting thumped 4-1. So
I'm not sure he passes the. He's young enough to recover from a Tuesday, Saturday that you mentioned for Garnacho.
He's been rested for 3 years.
He's barely
now.
played. Yeah, that's the thing.
I
He's
know,
barely played football this season. Like,
For 3 years.
Yeah, for 3 years.
He's Rimp Van Winkled in North London for years.
so I'm
Just
not that
storing up
worried about.
energy.
Yeah, but honestly, he's fresh for this run. I think it's perfect for him. So let's see how it goes. But like, and honestly, like they also have no other option. Like, are you really going to be deploying Oliver Skip in a cam role?
Can I counter that?
Sure.
Yes.
Because he's not to bury the lead, but he's in the next slide, I think, for me. Didn't really pass the eye test for me. Obviously, like deflected and off a corner, fell to him. Sweet strike. Like I said, I picked him up. He saved me my game week, so he'll always have love for that. But I just didn't think he did much other than that. He got a few kind of cheap points like a lot of Spurs did at the end when they were chasing it. He doesn't take sets even with Madison and everybody else out. If he did, I would be in your corner on this one. There are a few decent fixtures, but there's also some tough ones. He's a sell high for me. Because I just don't know where he's going to get his points. He was like in a weird kind of more reserved position in the middle of the pitch, linking play up for a lot of the game. So we'll see. I didn't get a chance to sell him high yet this week, so I think I'm gonna hold him. Obviously not looking to play him against City, so I hope I'm wrong about it. But yeah, if I could, I would be a trade high.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not playing him in the City fixture either. I definitely see your point as well. Sets are always a good safety net to own. I mean, Pedro Porro is taking sets. If you're Pedro Porro owner right now, you must be flying. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to take the gamble though, and let's see how it goes. And final shout is João Pedro. I think he's been a massive pain for a lot of managers so far this season if you still kind of own him. But like, who else is there to get injured from Brighton? Like, it's crazy. So surely he has to get minutes. Took his goals well. I mean, he's on penalties as well. Again, playing for an attacking team. So yeah, maybe it's finally his time to shine for the season.
Joe, what did I get a stat request? What's his points per start? Not his points per game or points per 90, but points per start.
Talking about Pedro?
Interesting one.
JP?
Yeah. Because he's gotten, if my memory
don't
serves
think
me
he has
correctly,
a
most of his
return.
points from the bench.
I don't think he has a return as a starter. I don't think he even has a starter.
That one early on, I think, in the season, he had that penalty.
Maybe-
and everybody's like, oh,
Maybe
shit,
he
he's
has
on
one
penalties.
or two starts. Not many more.
No, he's got like maybe 4 starts, 3 or 4 starts, I think.
He definitely doesn't have 6, which is what it requires to show up on our useful draft metrics page.
I was checking McBurney.
Yeah. So, and my friend doesn't have 6 either.
It doesn't have 6 stars, but
No. So we're not quite sure.
Just feel like we've said that all season. Like, oh, now surely he's going to start. And he
Surely.
still hasn't.
Surely. Yeah.
don't call
Yeah,
me
now
Shirley.
Ferguson's back fit. Like,
Surely you can't be
yeah.
serious.
Yeah, I do think it's JP's time. I agree with Sanji.
There's so many pronunciations to that, mate.
Is that a Sangy joke?
Sangi. But yeah, I think Ferguson has been and will be managed much more than João Pedro was. I think it was a tactical thing that he didn't start, but now he De Zerbi just can't afford not to start him. I mean, I don't think I can put together at 11 that doesn't have him in it that is viable. But I mean, it's always a toss-up with Brighton, so they can just come up with a rando from South America of the youth team, and he could pop in, or my boy. Good night.
Kundo.
Good night.
Good night. Could make the step up. He is definitely not looking like the Mitoma of this season, but
Yeah.
I still have a very mild amount, just a teensy bit of hope that he sort of kicks on. But yeah, trap.
Phantom Man.
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah.
Phantom Man. I am 100%
Yeah,
with
I
Phantom
said
Man.
that last time.
Yeah.
Last weekend. I was like, no, not doing it.
For listeners, he said in chat, Facundo trap time again. Yeah, you're gonna start him. You're gonna get 45 minutes and hope for an assist. And if you don't, you're gonna be upset.
Yeah,
I was upset
I'm-
with the assist. 6.5 points with a freaking assist. Give me a break.
Oh,
Yeah, but then again, going back to Joe Pedro, I think it's time to start him off the bench.
I have your answer, by the way. I had to go to
About
our
time.
database where we store all of our player data.
Paper
Um,
archives.
It's like
Yeah, I had to go to the archives. I had to head down to the microfiche.
he needed to put the little matrix thing in his neck.
Exactly. All right, points per start. 6.9.
That's decent.
It's not
Not-
ideal.
Not for the.
Is there a
name recognition
return?
this
Is
season.
there a return in there?
I don't know. Actually, hold on. Ghost points per start 4.1.
Yeah. So there is one.
There must be a return. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
goal-
the early game. They got a penalty.
Goal assist clean sheet percentage. So dependence on goals assist clean sheets, 42% dependent.
Yeah, so that's 2 starts, one with a return, essentially.
Yeah. He's taken 4 set pieces, so that's kind of nice. How many starts Bantaman asks? 4.
And in game week 14, that's
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. That's not where you drafted him. That's for sure.
I paid 51 fab for him.
Yeah.
But now
it'll be
I'll
a Christmas
I'm
miracle.
cashing in.
No, I mean, yeah, and this is called Christmas Miracle for a reason, right? But the argument is there who else is going to step in? He has to play.
I don't. Pubs with Hab put together exactly what I was thinking of what a formation could look like, and probably will look like this weekend without João Pedro.
Buonanotte and Adingra wide, Lallana behind Ferguson.
No
Oh,
Mitoma, no
Christ.
JP. I'd still start JP off the bench. He's getting equal or more minutes than 2 of those guys.
Who do they play?
Chelsea.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm starting JP from the bench
Yeah.
against,
Oh,
against
it's a bold move.
second half Thiago Silva.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Nom, nom, nom,
Yeah.
nom.
See if it pays off.
See if it pays off. All right, Ryan, who you got for Christmas Miracle?
One Lewis Hall. Speaking of injury-riddled teams in which
Yeah.
need a warm body. Newcastle's pretty depleted. Well, there you go. I don't know. There's enough time between Tuesday and Saturday or Sunday. I could see Libra potentially starting again, but
And Libra
I
was
think he was good. Yeah, he was good. I watched that game. He was pretty good. Yeah, I just think Christmas Miracle being over the festive season, so many games, Hall could play left wing or left back, and yeah, given that they don't have too many people up front, if they do put Livramento in the winger position, then Hall immediately slots in, and he's just one of those guys like the legend below him, where if he starts, he scores. 10 ghosts in 45 minutes last time out shows that he's still got it. So he's somebody that even though I knew he obviously wasn't going to start this weekend, I held because I think over the festive season he's gonna ball out in a few starts. Similar type of thing with Doherty. I just think that with all the games and they have a few knocks in the back, he's going to start a few games over the festive season. I probably not enough to roster him. It'll just be a once you see him on the team sheet, obviously pick him up, or pick him up preemptively when you see that there's 2 games within a 5-day stretch. And then I put Bournemouth just because a lot of their assets have started to come good finally. Iraola seems to be getting a trick out of them. Obviously, they've had a pretty good schedule. Although the Newcastle one, even though they were depleted, was still on paper a tough game. But they're starting to come good, and there's some decent streamers there with Semenyo and Kluivert.
Kluivert, thank you. Yeah.
Those are my Christmas miracles.
I like it. And the classic Ryan move of just putting down a whole team. Not putting down.
I don't put a
marketing down. Yeah.
West Midlands streamers.
Just putting like south of England. Like
I feel like one of mine and Robbie's basically go together. He put Chelsea streamers and I put Buddy Ashiel. I think if he comes back in, he could be big and he's shown that he can ghost in the past. Of course, listeners, that's points that players get from things that are other than your typical, goals, assists, and clean sheets. So we're talking aerials, clearances, those types of things, key passes, shots on target. Anyway, Robbie mentioned when he put this he was contributing to our doc here, their upcoming schedule, and it should just be mentioned what that is. So Brighton this weekend, that they're formidable. This is not. Wait, Chelsea's at home, so that's solid. And Brighton, not known for their defense. What?
Have Chelsea been good at home?
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, it's not that, so Brighton is an okay matchup for Chelsea players just because their defense has not been stalwart this year. But anyway, then they go to United, which pretty cake matchup recently. They go to Everton, Sheffield United, Wolverhampton, Crystal Palace, Luton, Fulham, Liverpool sprinkled in there, and then Wolves. That takes us to February.
You know that Man United are actually the form team of the EPL?
Which EPL?
This EPL. They've won 5 of the last 6 games.
That's probably right, but I feel like they shouldn't have.
I mean, they 100% shouldn't have, but I was amazed at that stat.
That is pretty incredible.
It was just like when Joe said United is a cake, and I was like, yeah, it is. And then it was like, what? That stat I had last night was.
You said they've won 4 of the last 5?
I think it was 5 of the last 6.
5 of the last 6. Okay, 5 of the last 6. Let's just track back. 5 of the last 6. Well, there's a reason they don't say 6 of the last 7. That's because they lost to Crystal Palace before that. But then they have Brentford, Sheffield United, who they beat, Manchester City, who absolutely waxed them, and then Fulham, Luton, Everton. And four of those wins were by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Dodgy. Jammy goal.
I just think they've got a lot to prove yet, in my opinion.
Not to be a fact checker, but our fixture difficulty tracker has defenders facing Brighton as the second worst matchup after defenders facing Man City.
Yeah, but Andrash, I said that
Oh, you're in
Brighton's
trouble.
I said
Oh.
Brighton's defense has not been stalwart lately.
That is fair. It has never been forward, but I don't know how that relates to Badia Sheila.
Oh,
Because
no,
he's going to score.
this is a fixed. Yeah, this is festive fixtures. This is not this week. This is
Okay.
like for Christmas Miracle festive fixtures. Body of Shield, add him now because I think that he's going to get. I think he's going to get a run in. And
So Toddy-
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Toddy, I'm very touched that you on air took my advice and dropped Buonanotte for Lewis Hall.
I did.
Five
I
minutes
did.
ago.
Yes.
I did.
Yes. Is this a
Biggest
first?
compliment I think I could have had.
No, I
amazing.
had Hole in that team yesterday, and I did do that. So yeah.
Yes.
You're highly intoxicated. So you're thinking straight, which is what
You are exactly. That's
I mean, in Joe's defense with respect to Baddy, he conceded 4 goals and still put up 0.75 points. So
0.75.
That's
Yeah.
what you want from your defender.
could be
0.75.
worse. Could be worse. I'm just trying to find the positive, in all that misery that is Chelsea. Oh, that rhymed. Well done.
There. Chelsea and misery. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No.
Go hand in hand. Yeah.
Well,
Are
you
all
said
your,
it, not any of us.
are
I
all
mean,
your players gonna rhyme? in the next
yeah, maybe
boxes?
that is the theme. It's
That's a
festive
rule
time.
for you from here on out.
We are just for our listeners. We are just stalling because Joe's second
No, this is
sort of second set of players that he put on the Christmas Miracle box is City defenders, and I don't know if it's conscious or unconscious stalling from all of us, but we just don't want Joe to be embarrassed. Essentially, that's what I feel in my deep inside. I just don't want the podcast to progress any further at this point.
And I understand why you would say that. I really do. But when I see a run starting December 10th of Luton, Crystal Palace, Everton, Sheffield United, I mean, and that takes us through December 30th. That's a Christmas miracle. You're unfortunately, what's going to happen is some of the worst players in your league who still think City defenders are good have been holding them for like the entire year. They're going to play them against you, and you're going to feel overly confident through this stretch. And then you're going to realize, oh shit, they're playing Sheffield United this week. I should have just picked up a City defender because why not?
How many clean sheets do you think they've had this season?
I don't care. In that stretch,
Look at the stretch. They've had the easiest stretch the entire season. And they've had 2 clean sheets.
In that stretch, they're going to have at least 3 out of 4. I'll call it now.
They've already played. What's the stretch again? Yeah,
Luton, Palace, Everton, Sheffield United.
I mean,
No,
they've
I'll take
already.
that bet.
Yeah, I'll take that. As well.
Wait, this is Man City?
Yeah.
Yes, Manchester City.
Aren't they blanking though?
They're blanking in 18, I think.
They're like in 18, yeah.
Okay. And they blank in 18. Okay, cool. Just
So it's
I'm just-
Man
When
City
did they double,
defenders
you think?
and they blank. As well.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
All right, there's a reason it's my second one on the list. This is not for everybody.
It should be for nobody.
This isn't for anybody.
They've already conceded against Sheffield United this season, Fulham, West Ham,
Yeah.
Wolves twice and lost.
Well, Wolves are a powerhouse.
Yes.
Yeah, something to shake a stick at.
Yeah. Young boys.
Young boys. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. Okay.
Bournemouth.
All right.
Bournemouth.
Okay. We'll see. I'm happy to put it on my tab. I would do my bets for pints, so put it on my tab. Next time I see you guys, if they don't keep the clean sheet, then I got you. All right, moving on. From Christmas Miracle. Reminder, go listen to that song, by the way. Christmas effing Miracle. It's incredible. All right. Pubs at the Ab claiming that that I'm not following the brief now. That it needs to be that I am following the brief because it fits with the miracle part. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
Like
miracles
don't happen.
It's a good joke. It's probably true, but it's a little bit rude, to be honest.
Can you ban him?
No. All right. Sell high. Let's talk about some sell high players. We've done this one before. This is a boxer we're revisiting. So let's talk about some sell high players. We can start with Robbie's Willian. What do you guys think after his two penalties?
Great
Good
penalties.
schedule. Good schedule coming up after Liverpool.
So you're holding?
Which made me rethink things. Yeah. Depending on what I could get for him. Yeah, I'd offer him out this week. If you don't like what comes back, just hold.
Yeah, you're referencing
decent forward 3.
Yeah. I'm with Ryan exactly in the same spot. I'm not bending over backwards to sell him off, but I'm definitely floating him out to everyone in my leagues because he's already blanked against similar quality opposition as he will be facing. So 26-pointer against Sheffield United and 25-pointer against Wolves gets you some love, but not all the love.
Yeah,
he's done nothing. He's had a double digit in these 2 fixtures plus a 15-pointer against Luton, and other than that, not even rosterable. So if you're expecting another 20-something pointer, then by all means keep him on. But I think you're better off with an open roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he was dropped in so many leagues earlier this year, which is why a lot of people, me included, got him for free off the wire. Yeah, you too, Ryan.
Same.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can flip him for even just some fab or, just something, then that's a win in my book. Of course, I didn't start him last week, so that would have been nice.
Did I? 2 leagues.
Ben Chicken's asking if Willian is a flat track bully. I'm not going to step in.
I resent that.
Exactly. I'm not going to step on that landmine there, Ben.
2 dodgy penalties. Give me a break.
If it involves Wolves, I will recuse myself.
Tread lightly.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. I've got Zinchenko for this one. We've talked about him the last couple podcasts because he's been on fire. But of course, when you have a goal against Burnley and you have a clean sheet then against Brentford, it's going to look better than it actually is. Yes, he's been playing a little bit better than he has previously. And Ryan, I don't know if you can tell us anything about if that's like a positional thing or, what's going on there. But I would stand by the fact that, like, if you can get, anything above his normal value, like where he normally performs, I'd go ahead and take it.
That's a good one. It's in the sense that it's very thought provoking because, as you know, I've never been a big fan of Zinchenko as a fantasy asset. He, I think, was on my do not draft list either last year or this year. Because he's another Udogie that really trades on his name, not his actual performances.
Yeah.
Having said that, I shouted him out in GPH a couple weeks ago because he's starting to hit form, as you allude to, and I think he's getting a lot more further forward to break down a lot of these low blocks that Arsenal has been facing this season. And so he's been ghosting well and getting into good positions. The only reason I would hesitate to sell high right now is because the next few fixtures are really tasty. Wolves at home and then Luton. So I like them for that. But yeah, as we'll get to again with Arsenal fullbacks, I think the window to trade high is probably closing relatively soon. I'd like to squeeze a little bit more juice out of this, but yeah, it's tempting to get greedy. But yeah, I think your instincts are on here.
Oh, Ben Chicken says he's a buy low for him.
Who
I
is?
don't know how you could buy low after 25 points and then a 15 pointer. The buy low was it's like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, somebody's gonna want more now. And if you wait till after Wolves and Luton, although it's at Kenilworth, I don't know. Yeah, they've.
I mean, for all the deficiencies and experimentation up front for Arsenal, they have upped their game defensively a lot since last season, and not just conceding less, but they are looking more and more solid. Maybe it's David Raya, maybe it's new system, maybe it's just them playing together for a longer time. But yeah, the comfortable pillow that is the clean sheet, 6 points, really helps out all the Arsenal defenders who, on their on value, I think they would be, if they didn't keep clean sheets, they would be mentioned in the same vein as the City defenders, because none of them ghost excessively well. But yeah, I'm with Joe on selling high on Zinchenko.
Ryan, you looked like you were pensive for a moment.
I think it's in general that's right, but it's lately it's not in terms of just ghost point production from Zinchenko particularly. Saliba still doesn't ghost at all. Gabriel's weird because he has some days where he's decent and others where he's not. But Zinchenko,
and he missed all those games at the beginning of the season. So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at their defense. Actually, Gabriel Magalhaes, you'd be surprised. 6.3 ghost points per start, better than you'd expect, honestly, at least for me. I would expect more like Saliba's numbers, which are 4.4.
He was a little over 7-ish last season.
Gabriel has always been the ghost.
He's usually the one that's just barely better than everybody else.
Yeah, ghost alpha.
Benny Blanco's at 7.4.
Oh yeah, that's an aberration. He's been having a great season. But yeah, this is the only time he's done it.
I like it. All right, Ryan.
Yeah, we already talked about.
Yeah, we kind of already alluded to this.
Yeah. Like I said, I just didn't like the eye test, not taking sets. Tough fixture this coming game week, and yeah, I just don't think his prospects bode well. And coming off of a 20-pointer in which everybody and their mother thinks that he's directly filling in for Madison, I think the window for selling high is closing. So I think the time is nigh.
He's just shown us time and again that he's not a dependable fantasy asset. And maybe the Ange system, like you referred to earlier, Toddy, maybe the Ange system, I just can't trust him. There's a reason I didn't pick him up. I probably should have, but I just couldn't do it. Couldn't hurt myself again.
I sold him before. I picked him up right after the Madison injury in one league and sold him for Gabriel Magalhaes and like 3 fab. And I was happy with that. And I was still happy with it despite. So I got a good score from Gabriel that weekend, and then obviously missed out on the 20-pointer from the Chelsea this weekend. But Gabriel Magalhaes got like 15 and change, and long term is going to be better. So
yeah,
I'm still happy with it. And I have him in another league that, like I said, I haven't been able to trade, so I'll hold him for the.
I sold him for
fixtures
for 20 fab.
Wow!
Yeah,
wow!
What are these leagues that you guys?
I know
you're getting these like deals done. I don't.
I mean, fab is all over the place. So I think that's sort of a very savvy way of getting deals across, because you'll have managers who will try to hoard. You'll have managers who don't know how to use it or have no value for it. And you can just, like Ryan's famed tactic of nickel and diming. You can just pick away at the fab budgets of everyone.
Yeah. No, it's true. And that's a tactic
how
you've
is-
been using more and more the last like year and a half, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's just like
Even
accumulating 3, 2, 4 here and there.
I mean, even
Yeah, it adds up.
as a proxy, I
Well, I
got into his shoes. I mean, in hindsight, that turned out to be a good deal.
No. No, not the Konate deal. No, not especially who you gave him to. No. But
He's
I
now
like where your
on-
head's at.
He's now on the wire, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I still hold him. I picked up Matsic.
That's even better.
Despite-
That's even
Yeah.
better.
Now it
even
is,
better.
yeah.
I think he's on all of my wires at this moment. But
He's on all of mine, and I haven't looked at picking him up. Although
no,
if he plays, I'll pick him up. Of
course.
I'll try.
good streamer. All right, Sanji, the one, the only, Mr. Charitable himself.
Sangi.
Marcus.
Dr. Rashford.
Yeah.
Has this been his like? I haven't seen him like get, I guess, a double-digit score since game week 5.
Wow.
I
I can't confirm at the moment. I can in just a second, but that is so terrible.
I think game week 5. Yeah. And the highest score that he's had since game week 5 or whatever was 7, and then now he drops 19 because of a, I don't know, like I feel sorry for you penalty. Here's a goal to get your confidence up penalty. Like I don't know.
A Kai special.
Let's put some respect on Kai's name. Come on now.
So, Sanji, September 16th
Yeah.
was the last time that he scored exactly 10 points. Since then, it's been double digits until this week, and would have been double digits had he not been playing me.
Yeah. So, I mean, like Rashford is, we know him as a goal scorer, right? That's been his thing, I guess, more recently as well. And that was the only shot that he had all game. Was the
It's
penalty.
like last season, he just couldn't miss.
Yeah, but even then, even last season, it was a stretch of like 10 games or something like that. It wasn't like a steady
Bookended
flow.
by some mediocrity. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a steady flow of goals. It's like one here, 2 weeks from now, something like that. Not like a normal player would be.
But
So yeah, it's
Interesting.
it's absolutely a sell high.
and you'll find a Manchester United fan in any league that you're a part of, and
Oh, for sure.
all of them value their assets way too high in general, I think. So
I guess how many shots on target he's had since the game, the aforementioned 10-point
10-point game.
I'm gonna guess
against
I have more
Brighton.
fingers on my hand than he has shots on target.
I mean, unless you work in a very
I've got
You
5
do.
fingers for podcast listeners. that
A
aren't
very
on live
dodgy
stream.
factory.
Yeah.
yeah. You do definitely have more
6-fingered man.
fingers. You definitely have more
Yes.
fingers.
Nice reference. All right, what is it, Toddy?
So in the games, that is, I'll tell you, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He has 3 shots on target,
That's
and one of them was a goal. The goal that Sanchi mentioned last week.
Pity penalty, man.
so the penalty counts as a shot on target.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. I mean, it is a shot on target.
Yeah, but we
I would
can't.
hope so.
I mean, for our purposes here in this discussion, you can't count that. So really, it's what?
It's
Two?
two outfield, like 2 open play shots on target
Nuts.
in 7 games.
I mean, the only thing that's propping up his points are a couple of key passes per game or something like that.
Yeah, but
Ooh.
those are like passes to Bruno, who just shoots from 25 yards out.
So
Yeah, I mean, you guys were mentioning this, and I guess I just thought to kind of look it up. Yeah, I mean, when you look at from March to May ish, like last season, right? He starts a spell where he's got a 3-game stretch, scoring 21, 15, 26 in February. And then in March, it's Liverpool 4.5, Southampton, he scores 3, Newcastle, he scores 0 in 90 minutes. Then he's got another spell of 4 games where he's 20, 14, 25, 12, 10. And then it's like spotty here and there, 8 against West Ham, 6 against Fulham. So it's just, yeah, I mean, he kind of is that kind of player.
Yeah, and even more alarming is that we are talking obviously about shots on target, but he has in that stretch of 7 games, he has only had 2 games where he reached 3 shots, like not on target, but 3 shots altogether. All the rest, so 5 of the games, he hasn't even had a shot, hasn't even had 2 shots. So he's just not getting involved. He's just, I mean, I know Genie expects a lot from Shaw's return, but I don't see how that helps him massively.
Yeah. I mean, your job is to shoot the ball and put it on target. That's
You had
kind of wild.
one job. You had one job.
sell high, get
You
rich.
had- All right, I like it. Let's move. Last one. What's in the box? This is risking redundancy. What does that mean, you say, Sanji? Just because Sanji had to ask me what that
I
meant.
had to be careful. Like
Which is
last time
fair.
I got all my boxes wrong. Like
Yeah. This is me once again trying to be an Anglophile. We don't really say redundant here in terms of jobs. Like that's not a thing for us.
Fired.
Yeah. Instead we do the Trump. And I don't want to get fined for that, so I'm not going to say it again. But
We'll get demonetized.
right. Yeah, for our 15 cents that we would have gotten. Anyway, so risking redundancy.
Going diamond.
Okay. Anyway, these are players who are at risk of losing their jobs. Whether it is just being completely out of form, utterly hopelessly out of form, or whether it is potentially their team bringing in replacements in January to fill their spot. So these are kind of players that we're thinking you might want to rid yourself of. This isn't even like a trade high situation. This might be a trade low situation. Get anything you can. Anyway, risking redundancy, players who are at risk for losing their job. So let's roll. Let's do reverse order. Sanji, hit us with yours.
Miss Jackson.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Yeah. I think now that Nkunku's back in training and stuff like that, there is like a genuine fear that we could see Jackson slowly lose his place, or at least slowly lose minutes. He got an early sub in the game versus Newcastle, but I mean that could have just been a game state thing as well. You could roll him out until he leaves for AFCON and take the risk and hold him, but I wouldn't. I'm gonna try and trade him out in my leagues, but let's see how it goes. Again, I still think that the Chelsea fixtures are good. I know people are kind of focusing on when game week 17 kicks around, starting with Sheffield United, Wolves, Crystal Palace, etc. But I think before this difficult fixture run, we talked about coming up against good teams that are going to leave space behind and stuff like that. So I still think he can get like a goal or two, and it's more so towards the Nkunku owners. I think that this message goes out to is just maybe go get Jackson right now. But if you just own Jackson alone and you don't have any other attackers like Sterling or Palmer or anything like that, it could be a bit of a dead weight spot in your roster. So
Would you right now trade out Jackson for Rashford?
I'd probably do that. Yeah.
Wow, really?
I'd probably
After
take
everything
Rash.
we just said about Rashford?
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Rash minutes. As terrible as he is in terms of shooting and scoring and stuff, like I still
Ooh.
expect him to start every
Yeah,
single
but
match.
Jackson is similarly horrible with shooting and scoring. He's about to lose his job.
Yeah.
What do you think,
And, like,
Toddy? Would you do that?
Absolutely.
You would you would bring in Rashford for Jackson?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Wow.
if I had Jackson, I would have started trying to sell him after the Spurs game, very hard. But yeah, I don't know if there's a market for him. I don't think you can get remotely close to Rashford level players offered for Jackson. So even with Rashford's shitty form,
Wow.
I doubt, like, if I don't know, I wouldn't give up Tony for Jackson.
Wow. Okay. Damn. I don't. Ryan, would you take you wouldn't roster Rashford to begin with?
No, but if I did, I would take that trade for sure. No,
Wow.
trade him.
Damn, this is crazy, guy. This is kind of blowing my mind. Actually, that's wild. What about would you take Evan Ferguson for Rashford? Or sorry, for Jackson?
I would.
Nah, I'm keeping Jackson.
Evan Ferguson's about to get a lot more playtime.
Tough one. Yeah. I think I probably would. Just short term.
What about? Oh, here's one you could maybe actually do if you're a Jackson owner. Pedro Neto.
Nah, I don't think you can get that. No way.
You don't think so?
You cannot get that.
He's a week or two away.
Even if he's a month away, I'd rather hold Neto for a month than have Jackson.
No, you're trying to get Neto in. Is my point.
Yeah, but who's going to sell you Neto for Jackson?
No way you get that deal.
No
way.
Okay.
No.
What about Cunha?
I've got an interesting one for Totti, but yeah, after the Cunha one.
What about Cunha? Jackson out, Cunha in.
Probably Jackson for me, but Cunha has been a positive surprise lately. I don't know if that's to do a bit with Neto not being there, but yeah, that's very close.
Okay.
I do Cunha with Fab.
Okay, I like where your head's at. I like that.
You don't want to get diseases.
Wow. I mean, I know this is like a favorite topic on the pod, talking about Jack Grealish, but I wanted to ask Totti, would he do Jack Grealish for Jackson?
I would, yeah. I think, yeah. So I still think that Jack will have his like moment in the sun or whatever you want to call it, but the fact that Doku has been such a revelation, really, that I think for me at this point, that is the only big wrench that has been thrown into my rest of the season Grealish valuation, which is a huge wrench. So don't get me wrong there. So my valuation for Grealish hinged on him being a bit unavailable and less quick to get back to his form, but on the back of him actually being the best left winger on the team. But that is not the case anymore, and Guardiola seems to have taken to Doku like a duck to water. So so yeah, I'm a bit more worried about Jack than I have been for the longest time. Finally, but yeah, I'd still take Jack. Like, I'd still take the guaranteed 10-game or 8-game stretch that every City winger has in its locker every season. Like we were talking the same stuff about Mahrez last season
yeah,
before he did that 8-game stretch, then disappeared again. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying that Jack is going to be a rest of the season stud at this point in time, but that 8-game stretch, which is bound to happen at some point, is enough for me to give up a player of Jackson's perceived value.
Oh man, I feel like we could talk about this one for a long time, but
I'd
should move on.
rather be frustrated at a player not starting than be frustrated at a player starting and not doing anything.
Yeah, true. If he were even slightly more clinical, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. If he were like even just barely more clinical, because he would have 15 goals to his name.
Exactly, and we are talking about perceived Jackson value on the basis of a Gukun coming back.
Yeah,
Who knows if Ivan Toney is not a Chelsea player by the time he gets to start a game, in which case Jackson is droppable at that point.
No.
Or
I don't
anyone
know
else.
about-
I don't wanna jinx Ivan Toney. It could be Victor Osimhen, it could be anyone from Europe coming in. I think they, like, based on the rumors and based on the information available, they are definitely looking at center forwards. And in the long term, I think it would do Jackson good to not have the spotlight on him and have a bit part role in the second half of the season, develop as a player, try to carve out a role for next season, whatever. But that would be uncharacteristically wise of Chelsea to do that. So, I mean, anything can happen.
Sure.
I think droppable is a bit harsh though. I think Jackson just moves from a sure starting forward in your roster to a rotation piece. Someone that you might be able to call on a random game week.
He'll be the Eddie Nketiah of Chelsea.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay, we're clearly out to fight tonight.
No. Sanchi. He was saying if Tony comes in.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get that.
If
But
Tony or
as well,
Osimhen comes in, is there a
Eddie.
way they don't start all the games they're available for with Nkunku back as well? Just where is the spot for Jackson?
Yeah, there's not one. With Sterling on the right, there's no way. Unless Nkunku plays the 10, like you had kind of alluded to.
But even then, we are assuming that. So all I said was Jackson becomes droppable if they get a high-profile number 9 in.
Well, is Eddie droppable?
Yes.
Yeah, Eddie's a streamer level, but I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right.
But Eddie,
I know a lot of people holding Eddie.
I mean, be careful because Eddie scores goals.
Eddie as a player is better than Jackson.
Oh Lord, here
Wow.
we go.
Everyone's out to fight tonight, boy.
If we were talking,
metric you want.
Tammy Abraham, it would be a different story.
I
You know
wish I
what?
had the.
It's
I
still
wish I had the.
November,
It's effing biblical
so
drop.
I'm gonna allow it.
Oh, it's amazing. All right, we clearly need to move on from this before we're not friends anymore. Ryan, your players who are risking redundancy.
Yeah, I've been teasing this all segment. Yeah, I think with Ben White getting back fit and Yuri and Timber coming back, knock on wood, hopefully in January, at least to training, I think the end is nigh for probably Zinchenko or Tomiyasu. When everyone's fit, I want to say it'll be Ben White on the right and Timber on the left. in which case both of those guys lose out.
Couldn't it be Ben White and Saliba centre backs?
I don't know why they would do that.
Isn't that what they were doing in the beginning of the season?
They toyed around with it, but that was when there was like some weird stuff going on with Gabriel Magalhaes, and that's seemingly resolved itself because he's been doing great, and as you mentioned before, the defense has been very stout. So in a pinch, Ben White could come in at center back, but I think when everyone's fit, either he or I think he's still the best right back that we have. So yeah, I think the plan's probably Timber and White, and maybe Zinchenko on a tactical level, depending on the matchup. But just to say that there's going to be some probably heavy rotation, if not just clear displacement in a couple months when everybody's fit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. Sticking with Arsenal, I can talk about Jesus quickly. I put it in. Do you guys know that an exclamation mark followed by a question mark is called an interrobang?
A what?
It's called an interrobang.
How do you spell it?
I'll put it in chat. INTERROBANG. Interrobang. Yeah, because it's like interrogate question mark bang exclamation mark. Anyway, so the reason I put the interrobang.
Wouldn't it be bang and terror then?
Well, the jury's out as to what order it has to go in. Most people say that it's up to you and your personal preference in the moment.
I'm here for the interrobang.
This is our fourth podcast, which is English teacher chat. Anyway, so Jesus, the reason I bring that up is just because, Toddy, you talked earlier about Osimhen. The only rumors I've seen so far in terms of landing spots for him are Chelsea and Arsenal, which is very strange. I've seen several articles talking about Kroenke and how he has some sort of war chest and how, and Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but some sort of war chest and how Arteta has a decision to make. And I just don't know, if that means we're talking center forward, if Jesus maybe moves to the wing, but where? At some point, you guys are going to have just too many options.
I mean, that's what all good teams do.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if it wasn't a risk. Will I think it happens? Nah, I still don't think we're gonna get someone like that in January. In the summer, I think is probably more likely. I think the emphasis will be on a midfielder to either take that LCM role or to fully displace Partey. So I think that'll be the focus in January as opposed to a center forward. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Yeah, Draft Alchemy mentions, Pep playing Jesus on the right, but I mean, Saka is the future of all football.
Yeah. His versatility helped him, but only in the sense that he probably has a chance to displace Martinelli on the left, and if God forbid something happened to Saka, but so it only helps him a little bit. But almost all of the starts are going to come from the.
If we are subscribing to the copycat league idea that has been going around with the right/left back to DM and all other stuff like that, I could see an Alvarez type role for Jesus, and next to a number 9, a more proper number 9, but yeah, that's just maybe just wishful thinking for if a new number 9 comes in.
Yeah, interesting.
And Jesus has been a bit more injury prone than even he used to. So I think I think long term, probably in the summer, just like Ryan said, it makes sense to do a bigger type transfer in the front line. But I'd be surprised if it happened in the winter. The only way it could, or it might happen, is if something like a Luis Diaz type situation arose, like that they were already in negotiations and progressing well, and then Bowley started to swing his dick around, and they didn't want to lose out again. Not that they didn't end up on the winning end of the.
I wouldn't mind losing out again if that's the result.
Yeah.
All right, my second one is Spurs mids, and this is just strictly in reference to a lot of rumors about, well, first of all, injuries, of course, right? Clearly, Bentancur being kind of the main one, and the fact that Bissouma and Sarr and players of that ilk have been sort of, I don't know if you want to say like, not upsetting Ange lately, but just sort of getting under his skin a little bit with their lack of creativity, their lack of ability to progress the ball in the midfield. I think that, and I've seen this on a lot reported in a lot of places, that Spurs could be in for a midfielder, someone maybe a defensive mid, but probably more someone like a number 8 who can really play between the boxes. And so just, yeah, I mean, if you're depending on somebody like either of those players that, I just mentioned, probably time to move on from them. Like ideally you could still maybe trade them out or add them as a sweetener to a different trade. I don't know, but Spurs mids, they need something in that midfield. It's been pretty brutal. And then Robbie's picks for risking redundancy are interesting ones. The easier one to talk about quickly is Miguel Almiron, who Robbie kind of foresees losing his spot. I'm not a huge fan of Almiron anyway in terms of a fantasy asset. I love him as a player, but as a fantasy asset, I'm not super interested anyway. But if you can get value for him, I'm willing to trade. Everyone agrees on that one? Great. Okay. And then Brian Mboma, which I thought was really interesting that Robbie included him on this one. He's obviously foreseeing Tony coming back and Mbomo's role changing. The question, of course, being, obviously risking redundancy. He's not going to lose his job. But what Robbie mentioned to me was that, he could be losing his role.
He'll be transferred to a different department.
Yeah, right, exactly. The mailroom. And if he does lose the role that he's currently occupying, is he the top? I mean, I haven't even looked lately. Is he still like a top 15 player, top 10 player? Where's he at these days?
He should be. He's been doing very well.
Yeah.
I
got you.
Brandon Buemo.
I got you. He's number 9 overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13.46 points per game. What do we think about that one? It's a tougher one.
If you can get a top level asset for him, I would. But other than that, I don't think he was good with Tony in there.
Yeah.
As well, and as we talked about ad nauseum, there is a very real chance that Tony isn't there.
Yeah.
When his ban is lifted, so I wouldn't trade out Mbomo on a perceived low.
Yeah, Robbie needs to explain himself.
Someone call him.
All right, hold on, I'm on it. Man, he would kill us. He would absolutely kill us. Robbie, of course, UK time and has young children. He would be livid. Anyway, no, though. I mean, I kind of gave you his thoughts on that one, and it's just the change of role. I tend to be on the opposite end of this, where if anybody is worried about that, I would absolutely entertain trade talks with them to go ahead and relieve them of one Brian Mbomo. So that's just my thought on that one. All right, guys, that's the end of what's in the box. Let's do some streamers for Game Week 14 and let these folks get to bed or get home to their families if they are commuting. And then however you're listening to us, thank you so much. You guys are the best. And as we wrap up another year and go towards Christmas, just want you to know, just finished Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you listeners. We really are. Anyway, moving on. Game Week 14. Ryan, hit us with your streamers. Oh, you're muted, friend. I got you.
Too new.
McBurney, not very original, but
Love him.
yeah, should be back fit.
Knock on wood.
Didn't start last week, which I think caused a fair amount of folks to drop him. But played 45, got a goal. I think finished with like 19. Good stuff. Obviously has the best matchup they could have since they can't play themselves against Burnley. So gotta like him. As you can see, I like that Burnley Sheffield matchup because they're both horrific defensively. So dovetailing with McBurney's return, Oliver Norwood, who should be pinging crosses and set pieces to McBurney, should get some very cheap key passes and
Crosses,
quote unquote accurate crosses.
Yeah.
So
only accurate because his head is so big or he's so tall to get to him.
yeah, so he should luck his way into a 10-pointer potentially. So like those two, Dara O'Shea, as you all know, is a favorite of mine from a ghosting variety. Somehow still dropped like 5.75 despite an own goal and conceding a few.
That was
so it's
insane,
ridiculous.
He was on like 12. All ghost points.
I was about to get it. Yeah, I was about to.
And it's about to get a clean sheet. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, en route to close to 20-pointer. If they could ever keep a clean sheet, you'd think it would be at home to Sheffield, but we'll see. Kluivert, I don't know if it's because he was facing me or what, but was a man possessed against aforementioned Sheffield. Ghosted really well, which was really interesting. And
he took a few sets as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Mm-hmm. It's too early to know if that was an aberration because everybody kind of balled out against Sheffield. But Villa at home would be an interesting test case for that. So I picked him up in a couple of leagues. If you're short on midfielders and he's still available, he's a decent shout. Nori went out early on in the Fulham match on Monday. Legend Matt Doherty came in for him. It looked pretty bad for Nori, so I think Doherty has a chance of starting. Not the best matchup, obviously, at Arsenal, but he can ghost his way to a decent performance, and they have Burnley next week and a decent run after that. So might be good to just get him in while you can, and if you're in a pinch, you can start him this weekend.
Yeah, Forest immediately after that at home, which is key for facing Forest.
I thought they had Burnley.
No. Yeah, Arsenal, then Burnley, then Forest.
Oh, okay,
yeah, which is great. Yeah, because anytime you are not away facing Nottingham Forest, they're not nearly as good.
Yep.
Nice. I like it. All right. Sanji, Banta B.
So it wouldn't be me if I don't suggest a Burnley player, right?
Of course.
But I mean, caveat, they're playing the worst team in the league. So
yeah, very good. Some
they
very
sure are.
streaming matchups.
Yeah, it's a great week to stream. So I mean, given like Lyle Foster's not back from his struggle off the pitch, which is it's sad, heartbreaking to hear, but Jay Rodriguez is back. He's getting consistent 90-minute games.
He's on
He's on
Pens.
Pens.
He's on Pens.
Yeah, that was so weird.
They could have arguably had
Who
like
else would be
2
on him
Pens
though?
that game.
I don't know, Goodmanson maybe, like somebody who's more
Brownhill?
of like, somebody who's more of a stalwart in the team. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just surprised me.
So I mean, yeah, it's fixture difficulty tracker as well suggests it's an amazing fixture to target like Sheffield United in general. So I don't think you can go wrong. Punt there, and then I mean, if you want to hold, but he's like at best a forward 3. Then up next, Tielemans. So Kamara, I believe, is missing this fixture because of 5 yellow card accumulation. So I'm expecting Tielemans to get the start as well. He saw his I think first or second start like a game week or 2 ago. Got some good ghost points. Then he assisted the Watkins goal versus Spurs. So there's a chance that he can fill in and do a job versus Bournemouth. I know it's an away game, but like I still expect Villa to score a goal against that Bournemouth defense. So yeah, my money's on Yuri. Like he used to average 9 to 10 points per game, right, in his heyday. So he's still a quality class player. Next one is Goodmanson. Like last 4 games, averaging 10.5 ghost points per game is absolutely crazy. Like he's overtaken the creativity for Burnley as well. And again, it's up against Sheffield United. So I think it's one of those like 6-pointer affairs. Like Burnley really, really need to win this. I don't really have faith in Sheffield United to do anything this season. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Burnley on this one. And then finally,
Oh
Neil.
Lord,
Gotta love some Neil, man.
you?
I mean, like it's one of those situations where when Brentford play the easy teams, they play a back four, they play more attacking players or whatever. So against Luton, why not?
Yeah, I know.
And it's a home fixture for them as well. So yeah, is that game? Yeah, it's the 3 p.m. kickoff as well. So it's like the first set of games on the weekend. So if Neil doesn't start, then drop him, grab
Yeah,
somebody
you're right.
else or something like that. So it's not the worst punt to like stash at the moment.
It's a good call. As much as I still harbor animosity towards Neil, but no, it is a good call. It is a good call. I like that. Nice. Very cool.
Who would you rather start, Neil Mopai or Simon Adingra against Chelsea?
Oh,
Neil. I know we got
That's
thrashed 4-1, but like I don't know. I still don't trust that Brighton defense as well.
Yeah, but what does Simon Adingra have to do with the defense?
As in, we might have more of the ball. We might play better. We might dominate Brighton a bit more. But I don't know. Like the numbers, the defensive numbers, underlying numbers for our defense was actually decent a few games ago. Like again, before we got pumped. But yeah, I'm still going. Like you're punting against the relegation team. Like I feel like the ceiling is higher, the upside is higher for Neil than it is Adingra.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I would say they're both forward 3s. Probably. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
Also,
Anyway.
wait on the Thursday game, right? Because Brighton have Europa and they
True.
love to get an injury. So that question might be answered come Friday.
Well, that's fair.
All right, let me buzz through these quick. I've got Hudson-Odoi versus Everton. Of course, if he starts, got to double check that. But yeah, like I said earlier with when Ryan was discussing Forest, when they are at home, they are a different animal. And this week, they are at home. So I think that you can definitely stream Hudson-Odoi. I think you can also stream Vlachodimos if you are feeling brave. I think that Everton are the kind of team that will just shoot a lot and Forest's sort of, if you want to call it, organization is never better than when they are at home and when they're pumped up for their fans. So I think they have an outside shot of keeping a clean sheet. But even if not that, I think Vlachodimos will have a lot of shots to stop. So going back up then, Koleosho, of course, adding on to Sanji's whole rant about Sheffield United being the worst team in the league. I'm so sorry for many of you who listen, and I know are fans of Sheffield United. James, I know that listens and is in my league. It's just, sorry. It is what it is.
I mean, they started their season selling their 2 best players,
and
didn't do anything to fill that void. So
I know
the sympathy is it's not really there. But it sucks as a fan.
Yeah, they're one of those teams. I don't think they were ever hoping to stay up. They're kind of building for
parachute payments.
Well, yes, and stability, right, over the years. And I know Luton's doing the same thing. So I don't know. I don't think either of them will be too bothered if they come up and then go back down. But
I think both of those teams, even with the signings in the summer, looked like they were signing young players. They were signing long-term projects. They were. I think if they can, they can. Well, not lately after Barkley and Townsend, but
true.
Yeah, so I think they're mostly building to have a shot at coming straight back up if they go down.
Yeah.
Which would mean that they can establish themselves as a Norwich and Fulham type situation, which is the sort of
yo-yo
front room of staying in the Premiership. So,
yeah.
So.
And then of course Christopher Ayer versus Luton. He was widely available before this game week. He has gone up 60% in rostership in the big 3 community leagues. But in your home leagues, he was at 11% rostered, and he's still at 11% rostered. So just to show you what the big 3 super involved teams are doing versus maybe some of your home leagues, that's kind of one of the things. And that's why I also like to bring up the top 10 ads that we see across the big 3 leagues. So aside from players that we've already mentioned, I'll kind of leave them out. But Joel Matip, of course, is one of them who's being added en masse. Koeman Kelleher, we have Allison out for an indefinite amount of time. So yeah, Kelleher versus Fulham. We probably should have mentioned that. Neil Mapai, we talked about. Nathan Ake. This is an interesting one, right? City Defenders. Nathan Ake, 36% rostered in the community leagues. Now he's up to 73, but he was 82% rostered in the rest of leagues. That's just kind of the way that City Defenders go. Mark Flecken, David Raya, Ibrahim Konate, Vitaly Yanelt, Pau Torres, and Ben Mee rounds it out for the top 10 there, aside from the ones that we've already mentioned.
I like the Ben Mee shout.
Yeah, I mean, if he's available, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He was 73% in big 3 leagues. Now he's up to 90. And I think going forward, he's one that at least last year you were able to set and forget him.
Yeah,
he's been a little bit less ghosty this year. But yeah. All right. Anyway, let's do it. You guys got any final thoughts? Ideas, prayers? Toddy streamers. Ben Chickens is asking. Any Toddy streamers? We covered them all, right?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Okay, listeners, you guys are the best. If you made it this far, you know we love you. You're fantastic. Hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up over DMs or at us and get a conversation started. We're happy to weigh in on start-sit conversations. And if you're a member of the Inner Circle, reminder that you do have access to completely confidential trade advice. So send us an email, and none of your league mates will see it. It's one of the benefits of being an Inner Circle member. For those who already do support,
we won't see it either.
So we always do eventually. Anyway,
It's so confidential. Even
It is so
even
confidential.
Even we won't see it.
Goes to a super secret. We actually have to go and like dig up the box from the ground, and it's found its way in there. It's like anyway. All right. Again, listeners, you're great. For those who already support us, you guys are amazing. Consider joining the inner circle if you're not. But regardless, draftsociety.com is the place to be for all of your draft needs. And let us know if we can help you at all to get prepped for this game week. Good luck, everybody. KPC out for now. We'll talk to everyone soon. Cheers. Sanji. Bye.
Bye.